Hey everybody, this is Daniel Zambrano, and today I'm going to be showing you guys a tip on how to use iron grippers to strengthen your strikes when you fight. Alright, so stay tuned. Alright guys, so the reason why I use iron grips when I'm fighting is I use it for shadow boxing, okay? And it helps when you use these, these tools here. As you're moving, what you're going to be doing is you're going to be squeezing the grips as you throw your strikes at the end of your strike, okay? And what this will help you do is strengthen up the fist, the wrist, the forearm, the elbow, the arm, and the shoulder as you're throwing your strikes. Because believe it or not, when you use these in conjunction with movement, all of a sudden you're using more muscles as you're throwing the strike. A lot of guys will use these traditionally just to squeeze, to strengthen up their grip, okay? Which is fine, there's nothing wrong with that. But I like to use it for more than just that, because it gets kind of boring just, squeezing it just to squeeze it, okay? So I'm going to show you right now a little routine that I do to help strengthen up for my shadow boxing. Okay, the first thing I'm going to show you guys is, first of all, there's different types of hand grippers that you can get, through Amazon.com and some of the other places, or even in your sporting goods store. I would recommend trying to get the better iron grips. This particular is heavy. They call it heavy grip, and the reason I got them is a little bit cheaper than the other ones. There's also Captains of Crush, and the thing is, to me, I like these. These work really well. I'm sure I've tried Captains of Crush, and they work really well too. But these are a little bit cheaper. Okay, that's the reason I got them. But the thing is that when you use them, guys, don't get the strongest pair. Everybody wants to get the strongest ones, but don't do that. When you buy heavy grips, these are the lightest ones. They got like 100-pound test, I guess, for squeezing, and they got 150, 200, and 250, 350. So I got the 100-pound. Okay, and the reason I get this is because when I'm doing shadow boxing, I don't just want to do, if I get a heavier set, do 3 or 4 reps, and then my forearms and my grip is dead. So it negates what I wanted to try to do when I'm training. Okay, so I got these lighter ones, the 100-pound test, so that I can do more repetitions. I can usually get about anywhere from 15 to 30 repetitions from squeezing this. Now, although it sounds a little bit high, when you're moving, it's going to give you a good workout. And it also, what I like about them is that it strengthens your hand, strengthens your wrist, your forearm, your elbow, your whole upper arm, and your shoulders as you're throwing your strikes, okay? And as you do that, it starts training you to flex everything in conjunction with your strikes. And it helps when you're using this type of equipment. So this is one of the things that I use when I'm fighting and training, And so once you get done using these and you get comfortable with them, you can start finding that your arms and your hands are going to be becoming one strong unit as you throw your strikes, and that's really important, especially when you're fighting on the street. So right now, the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you kind of a little bit of a routine that I do when I use these for shadow boxing. Okay, so the way I use these guys, first of all, is I'll get in my fighter's position, in my fighter stance, right? And I have one in each hand. That's the other thing. You need to get 2. Okay, you can get away with 1, but it's a lot better and more efficient if you get 2. They're the same. These are, like I said, 100-pound test on each one. So what I'm going to do is I'll stand in my fighting stance, and I'm just going to come out and squeeze, just like I'm throwing a strike, okay? And I'll usually do like 20 repetitions, which is about 10 reps on each arm as I'm throwing my strikes, okay? And this is what I'm doing. Now again, you could turn it over like this, like in the horizontal, if you're used to doing it like that. But I like to do it at the diagonal or vertical position, and sometimes I'll turn it over in the horizontal plane. But because the way you train is the way you react, I'm usually going to go diagonal, or vertical when I throw the strikes. Okay, so I'll do, like I said, like 2 or 3 sets of 10 to 20 repetitions, which is 10, 10, 10, and 10 on each hand. Okay, then I rest it for a few 30 seconds, a minute. Do it again, rest it 30 seconds. And while I'm doing it, I'm moving around like I'm shadow boxing, And you're going to see as you start doing it, and then nice and smooth, just be smooth about it, and you're going to start getting stronger, and your muscles are going to get a lot more tight as you start throwing it. When you throw a punch, it all becomes, like I said, one solid unit when you strike, okay? After I do that, the next thing I'll do is I'll hold them here in my guard position, right? And then I'll start punching upward, okay? And I'll do that, again, anywhere from 10 to 20 repetitions, just straight up, okay? Straight up. Then I'll do that for like 2 or 3 sets, all right? And then after I do that, then I'll start throwing them this way as I'm throwing hooks, or like I like to throw arc punches. And I'll do the same amount of repetitions, same amount of sets. And then finally, another one I'll do is the overhands. And this one, I'll turn my hand over so that the bottom 2 knuckles are turned under this way, okay, as I'm throwing, okay. When you do that, you're going to start finding out that your muscles in your back and then the rear delts, you know, and even up the upper part of the lats, this starts getting stronger. You start feeling the muscles that work when you throw that strike, okay? And I'll do that. And again, I'll do about 2 or 3 sets of 10 to 20 repetitions. Then I'll shake it off, okay? Then what I'll do after that, I'll rest for about, you know, anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes, and then I'll get the stronger ones, and I'll work for 3 to 5 repetitions. They have like 150, I have 150 and a 200 one, and I'll use those, you know, for 2 or 3 sets of 3 to 5 repetitions at the most. Usually it's going to be about, you know, about 3, okay? And the heavier one, it'll be like 1 or 2 sets of solid squeezing if I can get it. You know, and that one, I could almost close it, but it's more static. And it starts to strengthen and develop your fists. And so then when you start hitting and striking your bags and everything from training like this, you're going to start finding that your hand is going to be solid, and you'll be able to hit, and you're not going to feel very much of anything because your hand is going to be really strong, your wrist, and the whole hand in general is going to be very strong. And when you strike, it's going to be very powerful without even trying to put any kind of force to it. You're just going to be like, it's like a hand of brick, you know, when you're striking with it. And it's just using these type of grippers. And it's, you know, these are not that expensive. I mean, they're like, I think it was $14, $15 a piece. So $30 for these, you know. And this is what I use them for. You can also use them if you work out, like you want to develop your abdominals, doing your abdominal work. You know, usually you put your hands behind your head and you do your abdominals or whatever kind of exercise you'd like to do for the abs. Well, get the grips and start, as you're moving, squeeze as you contract your abdominals in whatever type of position you're going to be at when you're doing your, you know, your ab exercises, and it'll give you more intense work in your core and your upper body, or basically your whole body, as you're doing your work, okay? So that's the other tip I wanted to give you, is these work really good when you add them to your ab work, okay? You can do your ab sit-ups and squeeze, like you're throwing a punch. You can put it behind the head, and as you come up, you squeeze. Gives you that extra, you know, solid tightness in your whole body and your whole core as you come up. And gives you more how do I say, conditioning when you're using these, all right? So try these out. I know you guys will like it. I love them. I like using them all the time. I usually do them like, you know, 3 or 4 times a week. I'll do my grippers. But the thing I want to caution you is don't go overboard on using these too much. What I mean by that is don't do them every day for like, you know, 20 minutes at a time, 10, 15 minutes, because after a while you start hurting your hands and your tendons and ligaments because it's just too much work, you know. 2 or 3 times a week is more than enough. You know, doing a few sets of what I just showed you is plenty, okay? And again, just be cautious about it. If your hands start to hurt a little bit from squeezing them, because it is a lot of force that you're working with, but when it starts hurting like that, just stop and don't do them for 2 or 3 days until your hands feel comfortable and they don't get sore, and you give them time to rest and get stronger. And as you do them, you're going to see that your strikes and your movement is going to become more fluid, and it's going to be more powerful because you're using these pieces of equipment, okay? So again, I use like these iron grips. They work really well. I like them. Like I said, there's other types of grips you can use. And, you know, experiment with it, guys. I mean, don't just do what I'm showing you here. I mean, I'm sure you can do other things. But to me, just stand there, just squeezing them, just to squeeze them. I mean, after a while, it gets boring, you know? So this at least gives you more movement. You're able to do your thing, okay? So, and then, what I wanted to show you is when I do my shadow boxing, after I've done my sets there, then I'll just, like I'm fighting with somebody, move around, you know, throw them, just like I would, you know, in a fight with somebody. and then you get comfortable learning how to squeeze, or tighten your whole limb on impact, which is what you want to do. A lot of times, guys, when they make a fist and they throw a punch, they just tighten up their hand and they forget about their wrist and their forearm, and all of a sudden it starts bending and twisting and they start hurting and injuring their arm because they're not paying attention or focusing on using the whole weapon, you know? So you only use parts of it. So with these, in the extreme position, all the muscles are tightened at the exact moment you're striking because you're squeezing as you strike, okay? And the more you get comfortable doing it, the more you're gonna, how do I say, do it as a natural response when you're striking somebody in a fight, all right? So try these out. This is one of our things that I use to get stronger and help my fist and my whole arm and get stronger in a fight. So try them out and see what you think. Hey guys, another thing I wanted to go over, I forgot, is uppercuts, okay? Uppercuts and also shovel hooks. So what you're gonna do, obviously, you're gonna have your grippers here as you throw your uppercuts, you know? You just squeeze them at the top as you come up, right? You know, you do your movements, come, right? And again, you start to squeeze them at the top as you're moving, all right? For your shovel hooks, just keep your elbows in front, you know? Again, just squeeze, keeping the elbows in front of the hips as you throw your shovel hooks, or I like to call them like shovel straights. Just your hand doesn't come straight out, it just at the elbow it just comes and you're able to hit. Again, squeezing it, you know, and then trying to make them touch end to end, okay? The other thing I like to do is, and I do this separate, a little bit, you know, away from the shadow, is I'll throw it and I'll bend my wrist a little bit and squeeze. It's real hard to do, you know, right after you come up to the bend and you squeeze and you start to develop the muscles and the tendons and ligaments around the wrist area, because a lot of times when you're throwing bare knuckle, you'll have a tendency when you throw to slightly bend your wrist inward, okay, when you strike somebody, you know, because you don't really throw straight punches because it's hard because our bones curved, so you don't actually throw straight. So whenever you hit somebody, the fist tends to slightly curve a little bit when you strike somebody. So this helps develop this area here on the side of the thumb side of the hand, and a little bit on the outside as you throw that punch. Okay, you just bend it a little bit, and you start to strengthen those areas right there. So when you're throwing that strike, it makes it more stronger and more sturdier. Okay, so those are the three things I wanted to go over again that I forgot about. Okay, so again, using these grippers works really well. Use the lighter ones and slowly build up to the heavy ones if you choose to. Okay, they work really well, and you're going to get a really good workout, and your body is going to just have an advantage when you're throwing strikes. Okay, so you're going to have really strong hands, wrists, forearms, and the rest of their limb when you're striking. All right, guys, this is the end of the video, and I just want to go over some real quick highlights of some of the stuff we just went over. The hand grips work really well when you're sparring or when you're working on shadow boxing, okay? They work really fine. You can do these after your workout. You know, you can bring them in your bag when you're training and just find a corner or something or go by the mirror and start using them, you know? The workout, it could be anywhere from 5 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, 8 minutes. It doesn't have to be very long. You can do them 2 or 3 times a week, you know? If your hands start feeling hurt because of the squeezing and the tendons and ligaments you can start feeling that, just back off, you know, a couple of days, let them rest, you know, and then come back and start again. Just go a little bit light, you know, lessen the workout, and then help them get stronger, okay? You can also go up in weight as far as the strength levels of the grip if you'd like to. They work really well. You can also use them when you're doing abdominal work to get that extra squeeze in the abdominals and get more strength, overall body strength when you're doing them. There's a lot of exercises you can think of when you use them for abdominal work, you know. Just whatever exercise you'd like to use, think how you can incorporate them when you're doing your abdominal work with your hand grippers. And I guarantee you, you're going to just add another dimension in your core when you use them in that manner or in that fashion, okay? So until next time, this is Daniel from Brown telling you, don't just hit them, punch a hole through them. Take care, and we'll see you later.